Everybody, it's Thursday, October 5th. It is Doug with the Point of Sale Data Minute. Thank you for watching another episode today. I'd like to thank Canadian Home Products Trade Association and the office product folks for their support in promoting today's episode, along with my friends and employer at Crunchbox for always sponsoring what we do here. Today, I think we have one of our most timely episodes yet, and I'm excited to bring on my guest, Jason Landreau from Nectar. He joins us again to give us his thoughts on what we can expect this Prime Day and also share with you some of his last minute hints and tips that'll get your brand ready for success on October 10th. Jason, welcome to
Thank,
another episode.
thank you for having me.
It's great to have you back, and I think it's one of our most timely episodes yet, with Prime Day just being 5 days away, and we did this in July, just before the last Prime Day, and I thought the content was excellent. So I'm glad you're able to find some time for us today, and appreciate everyone watching in. Last year, I read the October Prime Day. They had a little bit of a decline from July. So I'd like to kind of start with what your thoughts are in this. It was a 6% decline in household participation versus July 22 Prime Day to the October 22 Prime Day. How do you think October 2023 Prime Day is shaping up?
Yeah, I mean the July Prime Day was the best sales day or event ever on Amazon. I don't expect that next week, and the disparity may be even greater than a 6% drop off as a result. However, it's still going to be an impactful day, a day where you can get ahead, and I'll touch on some strategies that you can leverage to make the most of the day. But yeah, I think I want to temper expectations. It's not going to be the same.
Yeah, that's what I heard this week. Although similar from some folks at Circana, the new NPD-IRI amalgamation, that they're saying that the consumers are really looking for some heavy, deep discounts, promotional activity. Brands, the ones we work with at Crunchbox, seem to be sitting on a lot of inventory as sales through the summer, spring, summer were somewhat sluggish, maybe didn't hit their forecast. So this is a Prime Day is a good opportunity for brands to clear out some of their excess inventory and really start to ramp up for the holiday season.
Yeah, what we saw in terms of the July Prime Day was that brands that discounted the most and the heaviest had the most success in terms of top line revenue. Now, obviously every brand has different margins for the most part, and certain categories are more friendly to discounting. But I think that's the key to revenue success on these events. I mean, one of the big differences is Amazon doesn't advertise or push this Prime Fall event as aggressively as they do as the July Prime Day. So there's less consumer awareness. Also, it's the first deal event in Q4 out of any retailer. So I think there's some inherent, and this is just anecdotal, trepidation about, am I getting the best deal or should I hold out for more? But then again, you get the impulsive shoppers who are just ready to start their holiday shopping. So it definitely cuts both ways. But to the extent you have margin to discount and you want to maximize success, I would recommend that you place your emphasis on offering discounts as opposed to funneling that money into ad spend, for example.
Got it. So it's probably a bit of a balancing act for brands, and you probably deal with this every day in your business, right? Like,
Yeah,
how do you
yeah,
balance discount with ad spend, with promo strategy, and all those things? So how do you typically approach that with your customers?
yeah. I mean, we encourage our client partners that have the margin to discount to take advantage of this. I think there's some things that have changed in the past year which lend itself to discounting, and the biggest one is that Amazon shows the amount of orders in the past month in the search results. So if you can really be aggressive on certain products where maybe you're at the bottom of page one on some high volume search terms and you can aggressively discount and get the order volume up, that can really help drive more clicks and more conversions because your orders in the past 30 days will spike. And if they can spike higher relative to your competition, then you're going to leapfrog them. And that's just another factor in, conversion rate and click-through rate. So you can really leverage this event in the beginning of Q4 to get momentum. And if you can do this for your best-selling products, even better going into the rest of Q4. And I think the other big suggestion that I would offer, and I'm a big fan of offering coupons. Promotions do stack, so that means if you offer, best deal and a coupon, consumers can take advantage of both at the same time. But we all know that the redemption rate on coupons is not close to 100%. So it can really help drive clicks, and not everyone uses them. But again, every brand has different margins, and some more of the commoditized categories, you typically can't afford to stack discounts with the minimum discount requirements. So, that type of advice applies to more margin-rich categories and products. But these are some of the considerations you should be working through. And then on the flip side, um, I'm a big proponent of not being super aggressive with advertising on these events, and rather focusing on where do you have a lot of inventory, where you're being aggressive with discounts, ensuring you get traffic to those pages. A lot of brands run out of budget, so also being strategic about when you spend that money. If you can do it later in the day, you can pay less per click. And again, you don't want super wide coverage. You rather be narrow. So if you are running deals, focus your ad spend on getting those deals visibility.
And just for interest, from my standpoint, because I don't know the answer to this, can you change your pricing midstream? So say you realize your competition is, undercutting you in a similar or same item. Can brands react that quickly and go, okay, I'm gonna get a bigger piece of the pie and match or beat that price?
So the answer is yes and no. If you're running like a Prime exclusive deal, no. Um, and in fact, you may not be able to change it at all. That's a good question. I've never tried in the moment. So the Prime exclusive deal, the eligibility is based on the lowest price in the last 30 days, I believe.
Okay.
So it may cancel the deal. That's a good question. I'm going to look into that one.
All
If you
right.
change it
Sure.
while the deal's running, but yeah, I mean, in general, you can try to price match. I don't know that that's necessarily the biggest driver, because it depends on where you're appearing relative to your competition. So I think what you want to look at is, are you seeing the increases that you forecasted? And if you're running deals and not forecasting orders and sales, that's a bigger problem, because I would say you're flying blind. So I would worry more about your brand, your projections, your discounts, than tweaking, pricing to react to what a competitor's doing.
Got it. And then on the ad spending side, can you take that up or down throughout the Prime days as well? And what are your thoughts on that piece? You did mention like maybe later in the day you'll have less click through rate. It'll maybe a little better bang for the buck from the budget.
Yeah. So I would recommend you pay close attention. Obviously, every brand has different resources. Our team is very hands-on during these big events. You do want to have a strategy. Um, it also depends on the category. Um, if it's super competitive, you're going to see bids really go, regardless, you'll see bids go up. But a lot of brands will not pace their budgets appropriately, spend too fast, and go out of budget. They may not catch it in time. What we typically see is that bids come down throughout the course of like later in the day. Um, but the highest shopping times are during peak hours. So you want to, again, be strategic. So if you normally have pretty good coverage across your catalog in terms of your ad spend allocation, what I'd recommend you do is analyze, hey, we're running deals on these 5 products, and we have 100 products. These other 40 products don't sell well. Let's reallocate that budget to these 5 to get them more visibility, and then make sure you're reallocating it properly. You don't want to put that all into high volume search terms that are going to be super expensive that day, because you'll run out of budget really quickly. That won't take you the furthest. So you need to be more strategic about where you place that budget.
Got it. Got it. It sounds like it's a little bit of a balancing act between pricing, promotional strategies, ad spend. What other kind of strategies and hints and tips would you recommend? Maybe it comes down to their site design, their store. What are you working with your clients on today at Nectar at kind of
Yeah,
optimizing their page
I mean,
before a big day?
this week we finished publishing promotional pages on the store or updating the home pages to reflect promotions. I would say that you can make some minor changes to your store, before the event. It's getting a little late. It depends whether you probably have the ability to work on the weekend at this point. But yeah, I would say it's a little late for content changes if you haven't done them already. However, we don't see that those content changes are the biggest driver of growth. As much as I'm a proponent of having fantastic content that'll increase click-through rate and increase conversions, in terms of building awareness and driving revenue, that's not updating your brand store or your product detail pages, to tailor towards deals you're running on the event is not wouldn't be my first, second, or third action item. But if you have the time and the resources, you should do it, especially if you're getting meaningful traffic on your brand store. Um, or if I would say if you're running DSP, that's another reason because you can retarget those people who visit your store. So, um, if you haven't done that already, I would strongly consider it for the next big event. Or we do holiday pages for a lot of our client partners on their brand stores too.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that being effective. We were talking prior about how brands can package all this up together, get themselves set up for success, and it's a 48-hour window. But how can you ride that wave after Prime Day? So all that effort doesn't just get comprised into the 48 hours.
Yeah, that's a great question. So you get a lot of traffic on Prime Day. Not everyone purchases. You can use every registered brand owner can use sponsored display to retarget people who viewed and didn't purchase. You may even want to include some type of a discount, step down discount or coupon to encourage subsequent purchases. Maybe a lot of people buy one thing, they don't like it, but they still need the product, but are ready to get it from a different brand. Hey, I had a bad experience. I bought it at a cheaper price. I'm willing to pay more money now, right? So there's this whole psychology behind that. Don't just give up. Don't say, hey, all these people are only deal hunters. They won't buy from me. We know that's not true. People buy things. So the fall prime events on the 10th and 11th, people will buy things on the 9th and people will buy things on the 12th and so on. I would say sometimes brands go into the pre and post as with this mentality, this defeatist mentality, like, oh, it's going to be terrible right before, right after. And you can do things like a step down discount or a step up discount before the event to help, minimize the spikes and dips. In addition, if you're really trying to spike order volume to leverage what I talked about, where Amazon's showing order volume in the past 30 days in the search results, you want to continue to lean into that. So you want to create top of search campaigns where you bid aggressively on certain keywords to show in top of search. Now that let's say you've gone from 1,000 to 10,000 orders in the past 30 days, well, you want to make sure you're showing up in highly visible places, assuming that 10,000 orders in the past 30 days is impressive to the brands showing up to the left and to the right of you. So there's ways you can take the momentum you gain during these big events and carry it forward.
Yeah, that's some great insights there. So out of curiosity, I mean, the early Prime Day deals would really help set a brand up for success. Is that kind of correct? Because all of a sudden sale volumes are going up, keyword searching may be going up because their ads or their products are being promoted. They may have some ad spend going on. Is that kind of a correct assumption?
Yeah, and again, I think we all live and breathe this world, so we're all like, oh, this fall prime event's coming up, but that's not really how consumers see it. And there's different tiers of consumers. Yes, there are people that shop on Amazon every day. They're fully aware this fall prime event's coming, or maybe they're watching streaming from Amazon Prime Video every night, and they're seeing all the commercials, and they're fully aware, they're fully ready. They're not buying anything the 2 days before, probably not buying anything 2 days after, and buying everything during the event. Then there's a whole host of other people who are just like, hey, I need this. I'm going to go buy it today. Oh, I see a coupon. Let me buy it. And so you can leverage these different people before the event to keep up the momentum, so you don't see a massive dip, then a massive spike, then a massive dip, and a leveling off. Instead, maybe it's a little dip, a big spike, a little dip, level off, and then the aggregate is an improvement. And that's what a lot of brands complain about. They say, hey, we put in all this effort, we offered all these discounts. By the time you account for the added discounts and the revenue drop off before and after, this was stupid, because we saw a 1% aggregate lift in net profit, and so there's ways to offset that, and leverage that momentum going forward, so you don't have the remorse about the event and all the work that you did to
Right.
prepare and try to maximize it.
Right. Almost wrap up here. Just a couple more questions. So, is there another way to look at it? We're talking about giving them the hints and tips of what they should be doing. Is there anything you'd recommend that they shouldn't be doing as we get this close to the actual event?
Yeah, I think you need to be careful about stacking subscribe and save coupons if you have a consumable. Um, you know, if you're trying to introduce new to brand customers to your product, and if they're not typically signing up for subscribe and save on the first purchase, these events are classic deal hunter events. Do you want to be offering that, or are you just going to end up getting a lot of people canceling subscribe and save orders and stacking the other coupon you offered, and then you're you're in a worse position than you were initially. So I would say you need to be honest with yourself and how people are buying your products. You may want to kill your subscribe and save promo. That being said, if you're trying to introduce a new size or a bigger size, and you're doing promotions off Amazon, especially, that can be a great way to juice sales. Say, hey, we have this 90 count that we just introduced. You can market to everyone who's taking the 30 count and the 60 count and saying it's a much better price. And we're doing this, initial subscribe and save promo for everyone who signs up. So it can go both ways. And then just in general, I'm not a believer in losing money on promotions on a unit economics basis, because you never know what's going to happen moving forward. So I wouldn't take a loss on promo, and you should factor in your ad spend as well. And I wouldn't just promo pointlessly or without purpose. I should say aimlessly. It's a better word. Why are you introducing? Why are you having a promo on the items that you're promoting? And you should be able to have a good answer to that question. We really want to pick up more reviews, new to brand customers. We believe that they'll buy more products because this is our best flagship product, or we want to improve in the rankings. We want to push harder in Q4. There's got to be a good reason for why you're doing promos. It shouldn't just be to juice top line revenue. That 99% of the time that'll come back to bite you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's, has to be a good strategy. It has to fit into your overall retail strategy as to where you want to move product, what your pricing strategy is, because we all know if they discount too heavily on Amazon, their first calls from another retailer on Monday asking how come they didn't get that deal, right? Well, Jason, I meant to do this at the start. I mean, you have a wealth of information when it comes to Amazon. You're one of my favorite experts on LinkedIn that I follow all the time. Can you tell us a bit about your business at Nectar, and just let those who will watch this know a little bit about your role and what you folks do?
Yeah, so we're a digital marketing agency with a focus on Amazon. We're full service. We have a photo video studio in Denver, Colorado. We do graphic design, but we also do comprehensive account management for vendors and sellers, mostly brands that are established brick and mortar retail and need help really scaling online. So that's brands, doing millions, tens of millions, even nine figures a year on Amazon. And we do a lot of strategic planning, down to the product level. Where's incremental revenue? How can we grab it? And what is the profit going to be? Down to ad execution, inventory forecasting, and more reporting, etc. So, yeah, we really specialize in bringing all of the pieces that you need, personnel and strategy and execution, to really accelerate your Amazon business.
Fantastic. And that's why I like having you on. Thanks for sharing your hints and tips, your checklist today, and your thoughts of what's going to happen on upcoming Prime Day on October 10th. Appreciate your time as usual, and look forward to having you on another episode in the future.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Have a great day.
You too.
Everyone, that concludes this episode. Jason Landro, you heard some great hints and tips about what you can do this Amazon Prime Day to get your brand ready for success. I'm back October 20th. We're going to talk with Matt Kruger, omni-channel expert, about initial markups and how you can maintain those as you look at your digital and brick and mortar world. It's been a couple months since we've had an episode of the Point of Sale Data Minute, so I'm glad you were able to watch today. I'd like to thank Crunchbox again for their sponsorship, the Canadian Office Products and Home Product Trade Association for their ongoing support. And if I can help your brand find the nuggets of gold in your retailer point of sale data, I'm talking about the ones that make you money, please reach out via LinkedIn or send me an email. Thanks again, and we'll see you on October 20th on another broadcast of the Point of Sale Data Minute.